relationships, to have a good one, it starts with communication and being able to know what you want and communicate that effectively. And I really, it got to me when you guys were talking about how you each in a relationship can have different roles and different things that you want to do, your passions, and they may not be the same. And the person may or may not be supportive or understand what you're doing. However, you can communicate that I'm going to do this thing during these times. And then when we're doing our together time, it'll be during this other time, and you can choose if you want to go on the journey with me during this time where I'm doing these things, or you can choose to do your own thing. So that way there's choices about where a person wants to spend their time. And the thing that I did want to mention, when you know what you want and communicate it, and you also extend that invitation to your partner, that's when things come together really nicely. Because I can say that in most relationships, the two people involved aren't necessarily going to like each other's hobbies and want to be a part and do them. They may want to do maybe part of them, or at least at nothing else, they'll be supportive that the fact that you have a hobby outside of them, because nobody wants to be the sole support and everything to make them complete. And and I see a relationship as the best and most healthy when two people can do the things that they have passion around, and they don't require anyone's permission, or that even someone comes along and does it with them, because that can be a dividing point in a relationship, is when you have a passion, the other person doesn't really want to get in or validate or see it. And so where does that leave you? And so you can have that agree to disagree, but yet have growth on both sides. And eventually, with the communication being open and honest, and saying where you would need the person to come in when you're going down this journey that maybe they're not 100% on, it comes together at a point. Why am I saying all of this? Because it's not a men or a women's issue. It's a people issue. And I've experienced that myself. I've spoken before how I have had a passion outside of my profession that I love and enjoy and will do until the day that I die. And for a very long time, my partner couldn't see it. And he just couldn't see why I would want to do these said things. And eventually I just said that maybe you're not going to come down this journey with me, but this is my journey to have, just like I may or may not be showing up 100% to do what you're doing, but I support it because it makes you happy. You support the person's dream or vision because it makes them happy. And then you do the things that make you happy. And then everyone quits thinking that they have to ask permission or that someone's being excluded. Because I actually sat down with a coach and said, what is going on here? Why is there this divide? Why can't he be happy for me? And then the shock of my life happened. It was because I was choosing something where he didn't necessarily have a purpose in it. And so he was being left out. And I thought, oh, light bulb came on. So now that I know that, okay, if everyone in the relationship is having a purpose and there's meaning to it, and we're being inclusive, again, that conversation that this is going to be my time to do this thing, and this is going to be our time to do this thing. The moment you start having those conversations and then communicating and allowing the other person, inviting the other person to do it, things are great. And it took, I don't know, probably a good decade before that this could happen. And I'm glad that it did, because no one wants to throw in the towel and start over. Sometimes that may happen. I mean, you described that, Bob, but I think that through everything that you've been through, you've found who you're supposed to be with, want to be with, and it works. So, your path may not have been the one that you chose, but it's the one that you're on. And choosing to work with other men who may be experiencing many of the same things that you did. And if you can get to them, so it doesn't take them a decade to figure out how to come to the other side, then that's wonderful. And so, serve your, service to others. Hands down, I agree with you, because I'm in that same space, service to others. But I'm best to serve others when I serve myself and carve out, without permission, the things that I need to do and communicate it. And it took a long time to get there, because I always thought, keep the peace, don't bring it up. So, that communication piece
Yep.
wasn't happening. I was withholder. I wasn't with, instead I was getting resentful and angry. And so you're hearing, a lot of things going through my journey. And, it happens for a lot of us because chances are there's other people going through the same things. And maybe you don't talk about it because it's not always easy. It's messy. You got to get underneath the hood. And, there's times I wish there was an operator or owner's manual to men, because if I could have that, unlock the code of what works and what doesn't, and I could have had that sooner, I'd be in a better place. So that's why I serve men too, because from a woman's perspective, I can say I felt these things, I've been through these things, and this is my perspective, my experience on this. Maybe your experience is similar and I can help you, or maybe it's different and you can help me. I've learned a lot of things from the men in my life, and as well as women, because I work with men and women, but I choose to work, like you said, in the underserved space, men, because
Mhm.
it's important and needed, and that's where I show up every day to help, and I have a lot of support with a lot of women. A lot of women watch the men's room show. I'm going to tell you that right now. And it's because of that reason, because they want to know better how to support the men in their life. And so helping men to become better men. Everyone wins in society when we do